If you're a leader, a student, an inquisitive thinker, or simply someone hungry for the magic hidden within your mind, Blink is your exhilarating ticket to unveiling the incredible power of instinct and lightning-quick decisions. In a world that never stops moving, this book becomes your secret weapon for harnessing the pulse-pounding thrill of thinking without thinking, unleashing your potential for stunning success. Hello everyone, I am Mike, and welcome back to 5 Minutes Book Club. Keep watching, keep growing. Today, we're going through a classic in the world of self-help books. Blink, The Power of Thinking Without Thinking by Malcolm Gladwell. This book has deep insights that can transform your thinking power and the way you think about decision-making power and the magic of quick decisions. Let's get started. Once upon a time, in the depths of our minds, there exists a magical place where snap judgments and rapid cognition rule. You might wonder, how can we make decisions in the blink of an eye? How do we meet someone for the first time and instantly feel a connection or an ease? What about those times when we should know better but miss the crucial details? These questions spark the inspiration behind Blink. We'll embark on a voyage through intriguing real-life stories and profound scientific research. You'll meet courageous firefighters and soldiers facing life-or-death situations, swift-thinking police officers, and astute doctors diagnosing patients. We'll dive into the art of reading emotions from a person's facial expressions and discover why seemingly simple questions can lead to confusion. If you like the content so far, please like, comment, share with your friend and colleague who needs it the most, and subscribe to the channel for such content in the future. Fasten your seatbelts, because the adventure is about to begin. Blink is your guide to better decision-making and the extraordinary possibilities lurking in your subconscious. Are you ready to unlock the hidden powers of your mind? Let's dive headfirst into this thrilling journey. Let's have an insight into what we'll learn today. The Fury of Thin Slices, The Locked Door, The Warren Harding Error, Paul Van Riper's Big Victory, The Power of Thinking Without Thinking, Listening with Your Eyes, The Warren Harding Error, The Dark Side of Blink, Listening to Doctors, Kenna's Dilemma, The Sunk Cost Fallacy. Let's follow up with the key content in brief. The Fury of Thin Slices. Imagine you're sitting in a restaurant, and the waiter approaches your table. Before they say a word, you've already formed an impression of them based on their posture, facial expression, and how they carry themselves. You've just experienced thin slicing. This chapter explores the power of making snap judgments based on very little information. Gladwell introduces the idea of thin slicing as the ability to make quick, accurate assessments from limited data. For instance, researchers found that after observing a teacher's classroom for just a few minutes, they could predict how effective that teacher would be for the entire year. This implies that our minds are incredibly skilled at making rapid assessments. The Locked Door? The Secret Life of Snap Decisions. Now, picture a high-stress situation like a house on fire. A firefighter, Abby, rushes into a building, and something doesn't feel right, but he can't quite put his finger on it. In that split second, he hesitates, and that hesitation leads to a tragic outcome. Abby's subconscious was trying to alert him to something, but he didn't trust his gut. In this chapter, Gladwell explores the concept of rapid cognition and its consequences. It reveals that sometimes our snap judgments, the ones we make without consciously thinking, can be our best allies, as they can save us in critical situations. However, when we disregard our instincts, disaster can strike. The Warren Harding Error. Why we fall for tall, dark, and handsome men. Let's talk about appearances. You're at a party, and you meet someone who's tall, confident, and good-looking. Your subconscious immediately forms a positive impression, assuming this person is competent and trustworthy. But this snap judgment can be deceiving. It's called the Warren Harding Error. Gladwell uses the story of President Warren Harding, who had no qualifications but was elected because of his impressive appearance, to illustrate the impact of these snap judgments based on looks. It's a reminder that we often make decisions influenced by superficial traits, which can lead us astray. Paul Van Riper's Big Victory. Creating structure for spontaneity. Imagine a military exercise, a war game, where a general faces a formidable adversary. Instead of following the standard playbook, he embraces spontaneity, improvising, and adapting in the heat of battle. The key to his success: structured improvisation. Gladwell recounts the story of General Paul Van Riper, who won a military exercise against all odds through structured improvisation. This chapter highlights the importance of adaptability and the ability to think on your feet when making rapid decisions, even in high-pressure situations. The Power of Thinking Without Thinking. 7 Seconds in the Bronx. Picture yourself as a police officer patrolling a tough neighborhood. You spot a young man who fits a certain profile. In a matter of seconds, your subconscious biases and stereotypes lead you to believe he's a threat. This chapter explores the dark side of snap judgments, revealing how these quick decisions can be influenced by our unconscious biases. Gladwell uses the tragic case of Amadou Diallo, an unarmed man who was shot 41 times in just 7 seconds, to illustrate the devastating consequences of biased snap judgments in high-pressure situations. It's a reminder that these judgments can have dire, even lethal, results. Listening with your eyes, the lessons of blank. Think about the times you've watched a couple interact and just knew if they were happy or about to break up. Psychologist John Gottman takes this to another level. He can predict the success or failure of a marriage by watching a couple for just a few minutes. How? By listening with his eyes. This chapter dives into the art of reading emotions through body language and facial expressions. It shows how our subconscious can pick up on cues that we may not consciously notice, providing valuable insights into the thoughts and feelings of others. The Warren Harding Era. The Dark Side of Blank. This chapter delves deeper into the consequences of our snap judgments when tainted by biases. It tells the story of an unarmed Brazilian man who was killed by London police officers, mistaken for a terrorist due to his appearance and the fast-paced nature of the situation. It's a stark example of how our subconscious can lead us to wrong and even deadly conclusions when influenced by bias. Gladwell underscores the need to be aware of and counteract the negative effects of bias in our snap judgments, especially in critical situations. Listening to doctors, what they miss. Doctors are often seen as infallible, but they too can make mistakes. Sometimes, they miss critical details or misdiagnose patients. Gladwell illustrates this by emphasizing the limitations doctors face, such as time constraints and assumptions. It's a reminder that even experts can make errors in their judgments, despite years of training. This chapter highlights the importance of recognizing the potential pitfalls of relying solely on quick, intuitive judgments, especially in the field of medicine where lives are at stake. Kenna's dilemmas, the right and wrong way to ask people what they want. Have you ever struggled to explain what you want or need, even though it seems crystal clear in your mind? That's what happened to musician Kenna when asked to describe his music style. Sometimes, asking people directly about their preferences can lead to confusion or inaccurate responses. Gladwell presents the dilemma of articulating preferences and desires. He highlights that there's both a right and wrong way to ask, and how we approach this can significantly affect the accuracy of the responses we receive. The sunk cost fallacy, how the new Coke decision could have been prevented. Finally, think about the new Coke fiasco. Coca-Cola decided to change its classic recipe. They invested a lot of resources into this new formula, but they fell victim to the sunk cost fallacy, the idea that they should stick with the decision because they'd already invested so much. This chapter emphasizes the importance of knowing when to trust our snap judgments and when to question our choices, especially when those choices are influenced by past investments. In blank, Gladwell aims to make you aware of the power of your intuition, the dangers of unconscious biases, and the fine balance between trusting your quick thinking and knowing when to pause and reflect. Remember, our minds can be both our greatest asset and our biggest obstacle when it comes to decision making. Now it's your turn, so go out there and make your decisions in a blank. The world is yours for the taking. And that's a wrap for our blank. The power of thinking without thinking carnival. Remember, you can apply these lessons while having a blast on your journey to greatness. If you enjoyed this, give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more exciting adventures and learning. Thanks for being part of the fun today. I'm Mike from the 5 Minutes Book Club, and until our next creative expedition, keep embracing greatness and adding a touch of creativity to your life. Keep watching, keep growing. Like, leave a comment, share, and subscribe to 5 Minutes Book Club for more videos like this. If you want us to summarize any book of your choice, mention us. We strongly recommend reading the book to grab the knowledge entirely. The link is in the description.